All right, I am live. So, what I might do tonight, looks like I'm all by myself tonight, so I might have to, what is this one now? Okay, that's weird. All right, now let me see if Jesse is going to be available. I don't know, he has a weekend plan or something. Okay, let me get that. Oh, wait, first I gotta get that invite. There you go, copy that. And then I can send, hey, Andy, quiet down. There you go. Okay, now I got that. Let me see if, all right, there we are. I don't know if Jesse can make it or not. I don't know why Facebook does that. It, like, stalls when you click over something. Oh, that's funny. Funny and sad at the same time. Yeah, all right, so we're on everything now. I think we're working. All right. Andy, what's up? Who is that behind me? Nobody's behind me. Andy said you should be a guest on here. We ain't got nobody tonight. We're all by ourselves tonight. So you and I could be talking all kinds of crazy stuff. I want to do some sharing of, information like UFO sightings and things like that. But um, I don't know how to do that. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think you have to share screen, but you can't share screen when I'm all by myself, can I? You've been sleeping all day. You got plenty of energy then. Get on here. Uh, nobody here to even see see him. No, actually, we got 3 watchers somewhere, but I'm the only one here. So I wanted to explore a little bit how do you share, say, like a website? Like, say, if you wanted to share information of common knowledge, say, like the National Archives of UFO sightings, which is a public site, right? How do you get that done? That's what I need to know. I thought she already started that. Okay, so now I don't have anything to share. Okay, extra camera, share screen, share slides. Do I need to have OBS open for that? But I don't know. How do I do that? Andy, help me out with that. So if I wanted to, how do I share, let's say if I wanted to share some information about a UFO story, or even a ghost story, how would I do that? Can anybody help? Nobody's here. So, okay. All right. Do I need to use OBS to do that? So I have to go. So how do I do that then? Okay. Hold on. Let's see this here. Let's get OBS open up and see what happens. Oh, you know what? It won't let me do both cameras on here. Virtual camera device. OBS virtual camera. Okay, will that work? Custom or default? Default. No custom. Change. Dumb. Okay. Well, that's not showing me anything. But now would that show? Okay, how do I get that to show something on a website? And how do I get that to go over to? Is that showing on there? That's not showing on there. Yeah, and everyone that knows is not here, so we are the only one here. I see everybody using showing slides. I know, like, Joey uses what they say a whiteboard on here. I don't even know where that is. How do you get to the whiteboard on here? What's the whiteboard? Well, no one's here to help. Advanced option. That doesn't help me any. So how do I get OBS to go to StreamYard? That's the question. Add add scenes? Oh, a source. Add source. Web video capture device. No, web browser. Haha. But now, what do I okay. I'm gonna mess this thing up, I know. Media source. Media source. Okay. Add. No. Okay. So now how do I media source? Okay. Oh, now I gotta add a local file or no? Nope. That's something else. I don't know how to do that. That's a whole nother thing there. Okay, cancel out of that. That's something I need to do when I have something on. All right. So okay, so I almost got that though. Okay, so okay, window projector. No. Transition override. No. Full screen projector. No. Add. Add. No, I don't want to add. No, cancel that. I don't want to add another scene. Um, order. Up, down, or no. Full screen projector. Well, that ain't gonna help any. Okay, escape out of that. Okay, we gotta remove that one there. Remove that. No one's here, just us. Just us here, nobody's helping now. I sure like to know how to do that. Yeah, I got some. Oh, we can go to the free archive page and share some stuff. So let's go. Oh wait, let's go. Okay, let's do that. Let's go to Minnesota. Move on. Since nobody's here, we're gonna go to Minnesota. Move on. Okay. Ooh. I don't know what that banging is. Nowhere. This is just talking about the different meetings that are happening. That's nothing. Let's- We can follow it anyway. What the hell? That's on Instagram. That's why that's not doing anything. Really? Okay. Don't see anything here. I know they got a website. Now you're gonna stop banging. Whoever the hell that is. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. I definitely hear something banging. And it keeps doing it. What the hell is going on? Minnesota Move On. Okay, let's check that. There we go. Here we go. Okay. So now, like, how do I share this? I gotta do a screen share, right? You wanna do I don't have to do OBS with this. I can just do a screen share. Okay. Well, how do I okay, how do I go there? That won't let me click that link on here. I'm just using StreamYard right now, but I think I have to go to the share and share screen. Okay, share screen and audio. Okay. Okay. So, so share screen. Okay. Now I'm confused. There's okay. Share screen. Oh, it doesn't give me. Okay, share screen. Okay. Share screen audio. Okay, share. Oh, okay. Minnesota move on. Ah, I got it. You can see that. Look at that. Ha ha. Hey, Genghis, what's going on? All right. Hey, all right. We got Genghis. He was one of the three that was watching. You win the gold star there, Genghis. All right, so here we go. I got it. Look at that. Now, how do I make this bigger? That's the question. Oh, I gotta make it full size, right? Yeah. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. Now, how do I get it to scroll down? Oh, I gotta scroll it down on the page that I was on. That's crazy. Yeah, hide that. Hide that. There we go. All right. So now report from Minnesota. Oh, look at that. You guys can see that, right? Yep, you guys can see that. Look at that. Press F11. Why? Hey, Lorraine, how you doing? All right. But no, Andy, we're not going to do that, and I'm not going to push F11. That would probably send me to Pornhub. All right. Andy's trying to get me in trouble. All right, so now a lot of things here. Okay. Now if we go to UFO reports for Minnesota. Now I haven't seen any, so nothing that I can claim anyway. Okay. 2009 was the last one. That doesn't make sense. Okay, news. All right, that needs to stop. Okay, 2018 UFO cases of interest. Not there. Well, that didn't help. Okay, well, that ain't gonna help, Andy. So now what do I do? Well, we can get out of here. Okay, so now we can stop sharing. Well, I learned how to do it, all right. I just had to close that window and not close that there. But hey, yeah, it's not a really good website, is it? Is there is there any do you have any ideas for something that we can share without getting copyrighted? Yeah, I can't click those links on here. I'd have to go to the YouTube channel to do that. No, no Pornhub, Andy. Okay, now, let me see here. Okay, I don't need that one. That one's still open there. Oh, okay, I can close that then. Okay, there we go. So now, let me see. Let me open a new window. Hold on, folks. I'm learning this here. Oh, free UFO images and pictures royalty free. Let's take a look at that. Oh, look at that. Okay, here we go. Well, that looks like a light. What the hell is that now? That looks just like a damn living room light or something. And that looks like a tower, like the Space Needle. The hell are they doing? Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, let me go ahead and get that shared then. Okay. So let me see how I can do that now. If I got that figured out. All right, here we go. I got some good pictures that are royalty free, no copyright worry. Okay. I probably won't need to do that. Okay, share. Oh, now I'm sharing myself. Got it. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, hold on now. I got this one here. Okay, now we need to share that. Okay, I wanted to add. Okay, how do I? Okay, Chrome tab. Oh, there we go. There it is. I got it. Now you guys can see it. What is that? That's messed up, huh? Oh, that's funny, Andy. Oh, I hope no, I don't think I shared that on there, Andy. 'Cause I'm on the website now. Okay, so now we can go down. Now, tell me what this one looks like. Okay, let's go one by one here. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay, three images. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, top row. Now, Andy, stop messaging me on Skype. I can't keep answering that and doing this too, and that doesn't even want to show up at this time. Or do I have to click it? Ah, yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, now, okay, Andy, stop that now. Now, the one on the left here. Can you see my cursor here? Okay, let's go ahead and open that up. That is not a UFO, people. Okay. That is a tower somewhere, or maybe somebody built something in their yard. Okay. That really looks like the something like the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington, to be honest with you. Okay. Just saying. Does that really look like a UFO to you? I don't think so. Not to me. Uh, if it does to you, then you need to check your eyes and clearly see the post here. That actually looks like a solar light for the pathway. Just zoomed in and made giant. Oh, I just thought about that. The solar panel would be up on top, of course, and the lights would come on at night, and yep, that's what you see. And the light is from the, uh, I don't know, it could be from light of a camera, maybe, or just a street light or something. So there you have it. That's what that is. That's a solar light in a pathway. UFO clock. That's a pretty cool one. Look at that. How's that? You guys liking that? Yeah, there you go. Lorraine, thank you for that. I am, yeah, because I have to spend all my money for the gas money to go to Pine Bush. 'Cause nobody wants to join me. Oh, I see. That page is the share. Ah, well, look at that one there. Now that's a pretty nice design. Some kind of clock. I don't know how that would work for a clock, but that looks pretty cool there. Ah, good point, Lorraine. Yeah, please put in your suggestions on what you think these pictures are. All right. And I like this. I can actually do this now. I could not do this before. This is a first for me. So I finally learned how to do this. And these are copyright free or royalty free, no copyright. Now, let's be honest, people. This is not a UFO. If this was a UFO, then you gotta be on something. I mean, seriously. No offense. I don't think anyone had taken this particular picture as a joke necessarily, but that sure looks like a dining table lamp, like there's hanging down from the ceiling. You know what I'm talking about? And that's all that is. I remember they came in gold was one of the colors, but they also came in like a green glass and they had clear glass, and things like that. So that's exactly what you're looking at there. Would you agree with that? Would that be a dining room lamp or a ceiling lamp of some sort? And there you have it for that one. So this is fun. I like this. All right, guess what the picture is? Give me a real UFO, people. Come on. So far, nothing. What is this? Okay, now that's just kind of weird. That's like a lens, some kind of lens interference. Wait, now wait a minute. What is this here? That looks like that light thing that was hanging there, but I don't know. Looks like something weird. That's weird. I don't know how that's looking through the. That's just dirty blinds and bad focus. Yep. Okay, and then there's this one. Now that looks interesting. Now is that a street lamp? You got the pole here, you got the arm coming up out there, and the lamp here. And with the proper lens and proper focus or whatever, that's the telephone wire there or something, or some kind of power wire or something. But that's the either a street lamp or maybe the moon. That could be a full moon, possibly. That is not a UFO. Sorry, folks. Give me a real UFO. Now, this one here is really, it's not a UFO, but this could be an alien, right? Now, imagine if you found that sitting on your table in the morning. Like, what the hell? Where did that one come from? Uh, I can see why these are free. These are not UFOs. That is not a UFO. You know what that is? You know what this is here? Trying to think of what it would be. That looks like something with like a speaker, or that could be electric, electric, something to do with electrical, uh, powered something, whatever you want to call it. But it could be a speaker though, too. That is not a UFO, folks. Okay, so now this is fun, isn't it? You like this? I like this. Heck, I could do this all day. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Now look at that. What the heck is this one here? What the heck? That looks like you're playing Othello. Remember that game, Othello? Andy, inflation and Chinese guy is Joe Biden. We won't talk about the inflation part. All right, so now, actually, that looks nice there. Look at that. Ooh, that's cool. All right, let's go back. Now, this looks cool. UFO trails, come on now. It just looks like sun rays or something, or maybe a bright spotlight of some sort. And this could be that street lamp that we saw earlier, off to the right there. Well, that could be the moon or the sun just out of focus. That's a filter that somebody used, and that could be the sun actually there. And but what is this light up here though? If that's streaming down from there, and this light over here, that's weird. That is a good one, but I don't think it's UFO anything. I think just a phony baloney trick with the camera. I actually did a couple of those myself. I had fun doing those too. To show people that it could be done. Now look at that one now. What the heck is that? That looks interesting. I was watching a show, a documentary. I can't remember what channel I was on now. I got so many choices now for channels. I can't remember which one I was watching, but the show was called UFO Hunters, and Philip Mantle was on there. Speaking of Philip Mantle, we are going to interview him on, well, unless he sees the show, he might not interview with me. But anyway, what is this guy doing now? He looks like he's skateboarding. That's what that is. Okay. That's not a UFO. Where's UFO at? Oh, wait. Hold on. Is there one in the clouds there? Anyway, yeah, Philip Mantle will be my guest for an interview Saturday, May 11th. Okay, so mark your calendars. And we're going to talk about his new book that he has, UFO sightings and landings in the UK. I have the PDF of his book, so we will be discussing that. This is just stars. This is like a Mark D'Antonio picture. Actually, his is way better. But anyway, there you go. Aliens did that. No way. Come on. Why there? And why that design in some field? Explain that one. Here's another dirty blinds and out of focus camera. I don't know what they're looking at unless you're talking about right here with the face in there. Is that a face? Like eyes right there? And then that would be like a mouth here, kind of. Nose there. What the hell is that? What the hell is that streaming down there? That's kind of weird. That does look weird if you. I'm not going to be looking at my blinds anytime soon. Okay. And then, look at that now. That's on a cave wall. Looks like he's drunk with one eye closed. Well, this must be pretty boring on Mixler over there. Now, what is this thing? Look at that. Now, that's probably the closest thing to a UFO that we've seen all night. Can I zoom in on it? Oh, yeah, look at that. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Now, that looks interesting. Not sure what this is. This alien sticking his head out. Why is it like that? What is that there? And what is all that there? That's weird. That's definitely something. Alright, oh yeah, happy Mother's Day to everyone who isn't here and who is here and who might listen to this later. That looks interesting. Alright, well guys, that's all I got for you tonight. I'm just gonna go through some of these pictures here. Have fun looking at all these. Now that looks like a house. We had a house in there was one here in Minnesota, but there was also one, I think, in North Carolina. It was a round house, but it's kinda weird. This is in the middle of the ocean, look at that. That, I don't know how long that would last. Alright, let's go back to the next one. What is this one now? Oh, that's the aliens thing again with the oh, they're saying with the hitting the field there. That's the sun rays, though, coming down there. Just happened to hit it right at the right time. Okay, you see that? That's what we're looking at there. Uh-oh, what is that now? Oh, that's from the reflection of a clock. Holy cow, you kidding me? What is it? That's a good question. That's a good question. What is that? Is that an alien or a ghost or what? Okay, now you got that one. Alien. There you go. How do you like that? All right, now we gotta scroll down. Oh, what is that? UFO broccoli. What the heck? That looks like what's growing on my mat outside my sliding door. Now back here. I got some of that up there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I saw it. Found a rock. I knew it was there, but I forgot it was there, and I didn't realize it had an X on it. It's a gray rock, and it has a red X on it, like a ribbon of red quartz running through it. I forgot it was there. I'm not sure what that's about. Why is there screws inside basketballs? Now that's a nice picture there. That looks like let's see. That looks like a moon on the horizon type of shot. Yeah, that's not a UFO. Of course, if you zoom in, can't see nothing different. Yeah, that could be possibly the moon. That's just a weird picture there. What are we looking at here? There's something there. No, I don't know what we're looking at here, folks. Tell me what that is. What's so important about that picture? Although I used to take when I was just learning photography and stuff, we used to take pictures of like the wall, chalkboard, different things to get the texture, of the object you're taking a picture of. It was good training, I guess. But you see some of those pictures and be like, why is he taking a picture of the tile wall? And that looks weird. That's a walkway into a restaurant area, probably. Oh boy. You see why these are free images. There you go. That's a restaurant of some sort. Yeah, it doesn't say that, but it sure does look like that's what that probably is. Some kind of lab. Maybe it's a lab. All right, look at that now. That looks weird. All right, well, we learned something new just by looking around. Now look, now Mark and Keith was here. They were here at Devil's Tower, right? Why would you want to try to climb that thing just because it's there? I don't know if I'd want to try that. All right. Ah, now look at that. Now look at that in the sky there. Now, I guess they're trying to show the relation to how big the dog is and how high that object is. That would not let me zoom in. That's weird. All right. Now, that looks cool. Now, what is that light focusing on? That could very well be the sun shining right through the clouds, right there. Shining down there. Yep, and getting ready to storm or just got done storming. This one's cool. Look at that one. I don't think that's a UFO. That's some kind of machinery of some sort. Um, like maybe a cooling fan, even of a computer, possibly zoomed in. Now it needs to stop popping here. Stop making noises. Driving me crazy. All right. What the heck is that now? Now that would be weird. Anybody see that? That was? Somebody see where it is, I don't think. Alright, did anyone else show up here? No one else was here. Just me tonight. So nobody else is here. All by myself. And I'm just showing these crazy pictures we got here. What are we looking at here? Super frog. That reminds me of a big fish that I saw here in Minnesota. I think it was here. What are these? That looks interesting. That's a cool guy there. Look at that. How would you do a 3D photo of that one? Or a 3D statue? And look at that one. That looks interesting. Although looking at that, out of focus, that could be just a giant, either a truck tire or a tractor tire. Out of focus and with the right filters. Look at this thing. The heck is this? A giant bug. All right, well, oh, you know what? Wait a minute now. Hold on a second. You know what I can make better here? I know what I can make better here. Hold on, folks. I got it. Brand music. Look at that. Oh, now there's a good one. Look at that. I have set loop. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Back to the page now. Now I guess I'm playing beside me talking, right? Fractured sky. Oh, boy. No, I don't want to watch this crap. Okay. That was pretty interesting there. Music is a nice touch here. What's that thing now? Now that looks like someone welding something together, but what is this light here? That looks like somebody either welding or grinding. Grinding, maybe. That's a grinder wheel. That's what that is. Grinder, what is this light here, though? That's kind of weird. That's interesting, anyway. Security camera. Another security camera. UFOs landed community Dr. Stadium, Alien Arena stock photo. I don't think so. Saw that one. Look at that. Look at that sunset now. Now that looks nice. But what is that right there? Not just a cloud? Interesting cloud formation there. Yeah, that one's interesting. Look at that one. Now, now the size relation here doesn't make sense. This looks like a drone, possibly. Look how small this is compared to how big even the seagull is. And compare how big the light is here. That's a really small UFO. Right? Agree with that one. Yeah, I'm playing the music from YouTube. They have free music. Underneath the brand setting, now here's the other same thing. Look how big that seagull is, how small this craft is, and also how big this light is compared to the sun's back here. Obviously that's the sun. Hey, at least you can hear the music. Look at that. That's just a painting there. Yeah, an artist rendition of what it would look like. There's another picture of that. All right. Now we're gonna just do the lamp. Now that looks like a kind of light. I don't know if it's a security light or what. But you see the pole, you see the lights. That's not a UFO. Now here's the lamp that we were just looking at earlier, but that might be a different design though. Unless that might be the same one. This looked like when you're going to the diner and you're sitting with the lamp and the lamp's over the table. You know what I'm talking about? Like at Perkins, maybe. What is that? I don't know where that is. What are we looking at? What's that there? That should reflect on the light. I see that. Okay. But what is that inside there? Hold on. Two of them. Right there. And one over here. Wait, no. Is that a... No? Might be another one right somewhere back here. There's three here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Maybe another one there. Wow, that looks weird. The first thing you see is a bridge. You don't even see those until you look at the clouds really good. I don't see anything there. Now that looks pretty cool. What is that now? That looks like one of those massager things. You know, like for your back. Or is that a shower head? That could be a shower head too. What I'm doing here now, get that out of there. That's an ad for iStop. Go back, get out of there. Oh, that's the end of the pictures. Okay. That's it for that, folks. Well, let's see here. Oh, here's another site. Look at this. From Getty Images. Ooh, look at that. Well, that one's for sale. Okay. We don't want to look at that. Let's get out of here. These are for sale. Hold on. Royalty free. Download 10 free images. No, I don't want to do that. That's an ad anyway. Okay, well, anyway, that was interesting. Didn't have nothing to talk about. 3D UFO. Free image. Royalty free image. Let's take a look at that. Oh, now look at that. You gotta hit accept, right? But you got the stamp right there all over the place. I mean, have it if you downloaded it. Okay, now get out of there. Now get out of there. Close out of there. There we go. Bird. Fake bird. Oh yeah. Well, let me see here. We went an hour and 15 minutes talking to myself. 4 people, nobody in Mixler. Okay. Wait, I could. I don't know what's playing around back there. We need to stop. Yeah, at least now you can hear the music on Mixler. I should have done that before. Alright, so now how do you do now when you stop that music? Actually, no, let's change the music. There you go. Okay, anything else you want to look at, Indy? That's legal to share. So let's go to take a look at. Oh, there we go. Oh, there you go. Let's look at that. Let's watch this now. We're going to share the screen again. I'm going to stop the music though. What are you talking about? Or what? I gotta stop that music. Okay, now I'm gonna play a documentary that's royalty free. At least I hope it is. If I got it figured out right. And it's on Stonehenge. Okay, so let's go here, and let's see if I can get this done correctly. All right, I learned how to do this here. Share audio, share screen audio, and now I can change tab, watch documentary, share. There you go. Watch documentary on this one. Look at that. Now there is something we could do. Hey, haha. Look at that, Andy. I learned how to do this. How do you like that? Okay. Wait, now I wanted to go to comments, not. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I can't post comments from other destinations. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, here we go with this documentary on Stonehenge. Let's take a look at that. This is a free documentary, royalty free.
The human race has been building huge stone structures for ages. What are the origins of these structures? What were these circular constructions used for? Many of these structures were sealed up thousands of years ago by the people who built them. But in some cases, wind and waves wore away that protective covering over time. These structures are called megaliths. You could call them gigantic works of art.
They were built long before the pyramids, technical and logistical masterpieces that pushed the limits of human imagination.
Large stone structures like these were built in many places around the world. For example, in the far north of Scotland, you'll find ancient constructions that are older than Stonehenge.
Every hump and lump and bump that you see could be a new archaeological site. And each year, particularly during the ploughing season, new sites are discovered by farmers.
These discoveries outline an important chapter in human history. Until about 12,000 years ago, our ancestors were hunters and gatherers. Then, an irreversible transition to a new way of life got underway.
The transition from hunting and gathering to sedentary farming was a key development. For millions of years, people had lived by hunting and gathering. And suddenly their lives changed radically, much more so than during the transition to industrialization or the digital age.
This is Göbekli Tepe, a small hill in southeastern Turkey. Here in 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt discovered a series of huge stone structures, including decorated pillars that weigh up to 20 tons. A few years later, Austrian archaeologist Barbara Horesch began researching the site.
Göbekli is not only an architectural treasure and one of the most important structures of its kind in the world, it also symbolizes the beginning of the Neolithic age.
The Göbekli Tepe complex was built by hunters and gatherers, that is, before mankind became sedentary. This fact revolutionized the conventional archaeological wisdom.
We discovered a society that was completely new to us. That society had such a long history, and yet some aspects of it were familiar to us. An aggressive lion, for example, was just as much a threat to the people who built Göbekli as it is to us today.
For those who lived near the site, a parallel supernatural world was part of everyday life. This crane may have symbolized a connection between the earth and the heavens. Beetles and snakes were important mythological symbols in many cultures. There seem to have been few barriers between the natural world and the supernatural. Teams of archaeologists from Germany and Turkey have only excavated a fraction of the site. But they've determined that this period of mysticism was relatively short-lived.
Our research indicates that the early generations of sedentary societies kept covering up these sites and sealing them shut, so that they could no longer be used. But these sites were preserved in the collective memory of society for a very long time. There are good reasons why Göbekli lay abandoned for thousands of years.
Perhaps the first farmers wanted to distance themselves from the practices of their ancestors. Göbekli had lost its original meaning. People had become sedentary. The director of the State Museum of Prehistory in Halle, Harald Meller, says this was a major turning point in human history.
It was really decisive. Here we have nearly 4,000 axe heads from the Neolithic period. People used axes to clear forests to create farmland. They also used them to split wooden beams, which were then used to build complex houses. This construction of housing was a key element in the transition to sedentary life.
Hunters and gatherers also stayed in one place for extended periods, provided that they could find enough food. But the changes that took place in the Neolithic period were revolutionary.
The transition to sedentary life was a key development. For thousands of years, people had lived as hunter-gatherers, a natural way of life. They fed themselves in a natural way as well. They had relatively few children because the women did not become pregnant while they were breastfeeding. But all that changed radically with the development of agriculture, because that prompted people to change their diet.
Grain now provided carbohydrates, and domesticated animals provided meat and fats.
That increased the fat content in the body. Also, women became pregnant more often, and this led to a population explosion.
That, in turn, meant that people had to live together in smaller spaces, in houses, settlements, and villages. The work of archaeologists is often like trying to solve a puzzle. They carefully dig up artifacts that belong to a specific society and then try to recreate an image of what that society was like. Some objects, like these shards of decorated pottery, have lent their names to entire cultures. For example, the linear pottery culture, which coincides with the first appearance of food-producing societies. Burial sites are often rich sources of information for archaeologists. Not just human remains, but various items that were buried with the deceased. For example, an expert can determine whether a person was buried properly. If not, animals may have gotten into the grave and chewed at the bones. Maria Teschler-Nicola is the director of the Archaeological Biology Department at Vienna's Museum of Natural History. She says you can learn a lot from skeletons.
For example, we've confirmed vitamin deficiencies and stress symptoms in some remains. And that helps us to reconstruct what people ate and other aspects of daily life. We've found evidence of anemia in the upper reaches of eye sockets. We've seen evidence of vitamin C deficiencies in the alveolar ridges and other bone formations. If we analyze this evidence systematically, we can extrapolate it to the entire population and try to reconstruct specific living and working conditions.
Archaeologists always try to determine the age of artifacts. The development of radiocarbon dating was a major step forward in this process. Over the last 20 years, genetic analysis has also provided important evidence. Experts can now examine human and animal DNA that is several thousand years old. Anthropologist Joachim Burger says that genetic analysis of livestock can provide information on the migration patterns of Neolithic farmers.
We did our very first tests on domestic animals and determined that all European cattle are descended from Iranian cattle. Today, those animals are found in Switzerland or East Frisian or somewhere, but they originally came from Anatolia and the Middle East. And then we thought, perhaps we can apply that hypothesis to the migration of Neolithic peoples. And after 10 years of research, we were able to determine that these people from Anatolia, especially northwest Anatolia, are indeed the ancestors of all European Neolithic peoples.
Aber nur die Nordwestanatolen Vorfahren aller europäischen Neolithiker sind.
It's difficult to find well-preserved genetic material from this period. In warm environments, bones decay more quickly, and with them, the genetic evidence. Another problem is that sometimes older genetic material has been contaminated by newer material, which produces inaccurate results. Still, archaeologists have come up with some interesting findings.
In der Tat haben die genomischen Analysen von
Genetic analysis of skeletons from northwestern Turkey, specifically an area south of Istanbul, shows that Neolithic people in modern-day Germany and Spain were descended from an ancient people that we call Aegeans. There is evidence that the migrants at that time used both a Mediterranean and a Balkan route.
Farming people spread rapidly throughout Europe over several hundred years, but not in an organized way. This research facility is located in Tulln in Austria. Maria Teschler-Nicola and her colleague Thomas Prohaska are using analytical chemistry to try to determine the migration patterns of ancient peoples.
The technology we have today is incomparably better than it was 20 years ago. We can use invasive and non-invasive methods, plus isotope analysis, which has been widely used in anthropology for about 15 years to track prehistoric migration patterns.
Here, Prohaska examines a tooth that's about 5,000 years old. Tooth enamel does not change over the course of a person's life, so scientists can tell from its composition where people grew up. The same technology is used to determine the place of origin of some modern-day foods. The place of origin can always be clearly determined, whether in plants, animals, or humans.
We can now use this data to confirm a definite pattern of migration, and not just a transfer of ideas. In effect, we've been able to track the colonization of Europe.
There are few traces of Europe's original residents, the hunters and gatherers who lived there for thousands of years. They were probably displaced by the new settlers or absorbed into new societies. At this point, Europe had been settled by migrants from the Middle East. But what prompted them to move into this new territory?
It's hard to say. I don't think it had anything to do with overpopulation, not at that point in time. Population density was low compared to what it is today. Neolithic peoples may simply have heard about this region and decided to go there. Perhaps some groups had been there and came back and spread the word. I can only speculate, but I think one reason may have been simple human curiosity.
Das eine der Gründe muss schon auch gewesen sein, dass einfach Neugierde.
Hunters and gatherers eventually learned to travel by sea. Later, some of the sedentary farmers also used boats to travel west. We don't know whether they used sailboats or rowing boats. In any case, rowing boats were easier to maneuver. These migrants spread gradually to Mediterranean islands, including one that today is known as Malta. The Republic of Malta actually consists of 3 inhabited islands: Malta itself, plus Comino and Gozo, and several smaller islands that are uninhabited. Malta is located approximately 80 kilometers south of Sicily.
On a clear day, one can see Sicily from Gozo, and likewise one can see Gozo from Sicily. So one must assume that there was a degree of curiosity in people from Sicily wondering as to what this land was that lay slightly beyond the horizon. However, it's hard to grasp why people would decide to leave such a fertile island as Sicily and in order to occupy and colonize somewhere that was far away.
The first to arrive were probably explorers, perhaps then followed by their families. About 2,000 years later, some of the residents started building temples. The origins of these monumental structures are still shrouded in mystery. Some of these limestone blocks weigh up to 20 tons. They could turn to dust before we find out more about them. Timmy Gambin, a marine archaeologist at the University of Malta, is trying to preserve the ruins. Here, he's photographing some of them. Gambin converts the photos to 3D animated images. This is what the temples might have looked like. But he says he's running out of time to complete his work.
What's incredible is that the rate of erosion has been much faster over the past 70 years than it has been in the past 4,500 years. And that is not just because they've been uncovered, but because you have aspects such as acid rain, pollution, carbon monoxide, and so on that actually accelerate. So it's not just the period of time since they've been uncovered, but since you've got all these modern pollutants, this is really accelerating the rate of erosion.
This is the Hajar Im Temple Complex on the main island. It's a major tourist attraction. The canopy is designed to protect the site from the elements and slow the process of erosion.
You know, these temples are 1,000 years older than Stonehenge, which for a country that's a colony of Britain, this becomes a big thing. All of a sudden, our Neolithic is 1,000 years older than the people that are ruling us. You know, so this is what I mean about the political factor that these structures come to play.
But why did people build these structures?
We humans want a comfortable life. We want not to be hungry, not to be sick. And the way to do it was to make sure that the gods were smiling upon you. And one way to make the gods smile upon you was to build monuments in their honor.
This is what the site looks like without the canopy. We can now reconstruct how the temple might have looked in its original form. But we can only speculate about its actual purpose and what sorts of rituals might have been carried out there. Who was allowed to enter the inner sanctum and who was not?
There is a clear division between the inside space and the outdoor space. The temple is built, covered over. It is the realm of the priest or priestesses. The outside is open to the elements and the realm of the common people. This division is clearly thought of in the design of the temples.
The interior of the temple is hidden from the outside world. This hole in the stone may have been used by an oracle. It provides a connection to the temple interior. What was sacred to the local residents at that time? What gods did they worship, if any? Did they have sacrificial rituals? We can only speculate. The site leaves many questions unanswered. The temples of Malta were used for about 2,000 years, and then they were abandoned. Why did that happen?
At that time, and this is very typical of prehistoric cultures, they were not able to achieve real societal consistency. They had no established traditions that could be passed down from generation to generation, like written records, a class of priests, or a line of hereditary rulers. Those are key elements in cultural development. Prehistoric cultures that did not have these elements didn't last long.
Nie von Dauer.
some of the farming peoples who sailed towards Central and Western Europe traveled as far as what is now Spain and Portugal, and the Brittany Peninsula in modern-day France. The rocky coastline provided building materials for these new settlers. They created a new society at the dawn of the Neolithic Age, a society that remains a mystery to this day. The temples that were built in Malta are unique to that island. Just as these rows of standing stones are to the village of Karnak on Brittany's south coast. The legacy of these and other structures has been preserved in one of the regional languages, Breton. The word menhir means long stone. Dolmen means stone table. It describes a specific kind of grave. It's impossible to accurately translate these words into other languages. Experts have tried to solve the mystery of the standing stones in vain. Serge Cassin is an archaeologist at the University of Nantes.
This spectacular site, the stone rows of Karnak, makes a profound impression on everyone who sees it. People are astonished by the scope and the size of it. It simply boggles the mind, and it gives new meaning to the word monumental.
The rows of stones cover an area of more than 3 kilometers. The site used to be much larger. Every rock is distinctive, and each one could have its own individual meaning. Some researchers believe that the stones represent an expression of political power. Others believe that supernatural forces were at work here. Still others simply see row upon row of gravestones.
It's not a regional or a local design, and we don't know its origins, but you really can call it architecture.
The rows of stones extended from the coast into the interior. Perhaps they indicated a pathway of some sort. If so, where did it lead?
One thing is clear, and this applies to all megalithic structures. It's a sacred construction that involves the landscape and living space. You really can see that in the rows of stones, and they're linked to a sacred site.
Megalithic sites are found on many Mediterranean islands and along the Atlantic coast as far north as Britain. They were also built along the North Sea and the Baltic Sea coasts. But there are none of these sites in modern-day Hungary, Austria, or southern Germany, that is, places where migrants traveled over land. What's the explanation for that?
As these Neolithic peoples left Central Anatolia, they experienced a sharp reduction in cultural diversity. They were farmers when they arrived in Europe. As they traveled along the Balkan route, they lost their connection to their previous society, including the construction of large monuments. They became highly specialized farmers, and they were very good at it. But it was not a life that was rich in culture.
The migrations from the Fertile Crescent to Austria continued for nearly 5,000 years.
In many parts of Europe, receding Ice Age glaciers left behind lots of boulders. The Neolithic migrants found large areas of fertile topsoil in what is now eastern Austria. But there weren't a lot of large rocks that could be used for construction, so they used other materials. In the 1980s, researchers who were analyzing aerial photographs discovered circular shapes in the soil in Austria's Danube region. This was definitely something worth looking into.
Those aerial photos led to excavations, and they found these huge monuments that were more than 6,000 years old. Archaeologists wondered what they'd been used for, and there was a lot of discussion about it back in the 1980s. There were all sorts of possible explanations, everything from forts to meeting places, temples, or cattle pens.
Here, archaeologists use radar to scan the area to get an idea of what sort of structures might have been built here: fences, ditches, or entryways. Archaeologist Wolfgang Neubauer has used this equipment to investigate sites around the world. For example, Neubauer was able to prove that Stonehenge, perhaps the world's most famous prehistoric monument, was originally made of wood. These circular shapes can be seen from the air only at certain times of the year, provided that they've not been covered up by blowing soil. Neubauer found a total of 40 circular ditches in the Weinviertel region of northeastern Austria. In 2005, archaeologist Wolfgang Lobisser and his team reconstructed one of these ditches near the town of Heldenberg. They used stone tools and the same materials that would have been available during the Stone Age, including wood, bone, and plant fibers. But it's the stone structures that tell us the most about our ancient ancestors. On the North Sea island of Sylt, for example, there are more than 500 burial sites made of stone. A number of Neolithic tombs can also be found on the northern German mainland and in Denmark. Archaeologists continue to excavate and analyze some of these sites. These large stone tombs were often used for centuries.
These megalithic tombs gave people a sense of identity. The local residents performed their rituals there. It helped them to reaffirm their existence. So these sites really did help to shape society at that time.
In der Landschaft für die Menschen, die es damals gab.
Burial practices can tell us a lot about a given society and its people.
Megalithic peoples used common burial sites. There's little evidence of individual graves. It's as though the deceased lost their identity.
During the early Neolithic period, the focus was on the community, not the individual. Those who could contribute substantially to the community were held in high regard. Over time, our ancestors began to create high-quality, elaborately designed ceramics. This beautifully decorated bowl was found in a grave near Lüdelsen, in the eastern German state of Saxony-Anhalt. Items such as these, and burial practices in general, can tell us much about society, including the status of women.
We've observed no major differences in the way that men and women were buried in Neolithic societies. In many cases, women were given burials that were just as elaborate as those for men, and sometimes even more so.
But did Neolithic burial objects really indicate the status of women in society? Stone constructions represent spiritual immortality. That is, the deceased will be remembered forever.
The key element in reconstructing ancient architecture, whether it's temple buildings or tombs, are the stone building blocks. If these structures had been made of wood, we would have found very few remains. We could only speculate as to how large the structure had been. But the stone blocks really gave us an idea of what it was like in prehistoric times.
There's an amazing variety of Neolithic structures in the Orkney Islands off the northeastern coast of Scotland. Excavation work began at this site in 2002, led by archaeologist Nick Card.
I think what we're seeing today is just really the very tip of the iceberg of what was here 5,000 years ago. Our eyes are drawn to these wonderful upstanding monuments, but over about the last 10 years, the University of the Highlands and Islands has embarked on a large-scale geophysical program of survey around these monuments to see what else was potentially here. And what we've discovered is that the landscape was filled with monuments.
Excavations have yielded evidence of sites that were used by cults, as well as settlements and graves. The concentration of Neolithic structures on the island is extensive. This is the Maes O burial site. The standing stones of Stenness form one of the oldest circular structures in Britain. "150 meters away are the remains of the Barnhouse settlement. The entrance to the narrow headland is guarded by a 5.6 meter high monolith called the Watchstone. Further along, we find the Ness of Brodgar, a major settlement that included houses, a huge stone wall, and even a Neolithic version of a cathedral. Archaeologists have discovered other Neolithic structures that lie directly on the coast. This settlement includes some small stone houses. Much of the excavation site has been covered to protect the masonry from the elements. No visitors are allowed, only Nick Card and his team.
Neolithic people were really no different from ourselves. What you see here in a house is everything that you'd expect really in a modern day house without the electricity and the water.
The flat construction protects the structure against stormy weather. The grass roof provides warmth. People led a decent life here. As far as we know, there were no armed conflicts or other serious existential threats at the time. The local forests were more widespread in Neolithic times, and the climate was relatively mild, thanks to the influence of the Gulf Stream. The conditions were ideal for growing crops and raising livestock. And there were also plentiful supplies of fish.
During the Neolithic, what we found is that Orkney had a kind of predominance amongst many other areas. And what we've found is that there's material being brought to Orkney from right the way across Britain. But equally, a lot of the ideas that seem to dominate the prehistory of Britain seem to have originated in the Orkney Islands.
Was the stone circle of Orkney a model for similar structures throughout Britain? Meanwhile, archaeologists have been able to precisely determine Neolithic migration patterns. All they need to carry out a comprehensive analysis are a few bones or teeth that contain traces of DNA. This is the same method that proved that Central Europeans were descended from the people of Anatolia. Researchers also came up with another surprising discovery.
In einem zweiten Schritt wurden
They
dann
examined genetic
spanische
material
Gebiete
found in
untersucht, also
what is
wirklich
now
außen-
Iran, that is, the heartland of the Fertile Crescent.
Und da
And they
bestimmte
found a break in the migration pattern, approximately between Western Iran and Western Anatolia.
bricht diese
The
Kette, weil das
population
sind
groups had become so diverse. There are indications that they may have split up between 50 and 70,000 years ago,
50.000 Jahre
following the
schon getrennt
migration of anatomically modern humans from Africa.
haben. Aber beide
Both major groups became sedentary, farmed the land, and built houses.
Ackerbau, Häuserbau.
Populations made the transition to sedentary culture in both Europe and Asia at about the same time, but of course, independently of one another. Megalithic structures can be found throughout Asia, and especially in Korea. Constellations, the patterns of stars, play an important role in Korean mythology. Well into modern times, it was not unusual to find images of constellations engraved on headstones. But it's not always easy to determine the precise age of these relics. The Neolithic Age appears to have been a relatively peaceful period in human history. Archaeologists have found no evidence of armed conflict during this time. The Neolithic period in Europe came to an end around 2000 BC, when it gave way to the Bronze Age. The stone structures remained, of course. Today, some of them serve as road markers. Others took on a Christian look. Churches were built atop burial grounds, and some stone monuments simply faded into the local background. In Neolithic times, temples served the same purpose as mosques, synagogues, and churches do today. This period saw the development of communities where people lived in small settlements, raised their families, and tended their crops and livestock.
These Neolithic elements still shape our society today, sometimes more than we think.
All right. Well, that is it for that. And that is just a little bit over 2 hours there. 10 minutes, 2 hours and 7 minutes. But anyway, thank you for everyone that joined. And the first part of it didn't go as well as I had hoped, but I learned a new trick: how to share uh, a second or the website, like for information and education purposes. So that is a good thing that I have learned how to do tonight. And I was able to share that documentary, which was a royalty free documentary. So used for education purposes only. So, or fair use act, as they say, right? There's actually a law on the books about that. So, that's what that was for. Anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. Thank you for joining me here on Earth Radio on Intermission Transmission. A little bit different tonight, but didn't have anything to anyone else talk with, and so that's a good way to do it right there. Remember, May 11th, we're planning on interviewing Philip Mantle, and for me, it'll be an afternoon interview. It will be live, and for him, it'll be 7 p.m. or something like that. All right? So we'll see everybody on the next one. Have a great rest of your night. We need a intro and a exit on this thing. All right, so maybe Goofy or Andy can come up with something with that. Uh, all right, we'll see you next time. All right, have a great night. And today's tarot card of the day was the King of Wands. I think I mentioned that before. I did post it on Facebook. All right, we'll see everybody next time. Have a great night. And tomorrow night, I think Amanda's going to do a game night show on Mixler on Earth Radio. So check that out if you want to be part of that. Please install Mixler app and create an account with your email. And then you can find Earth Radio on Mixler, and you can be part of a chat, be part of our chat on live radio, and have a lot of fun. All right, good night, Esther. I hope you have a fun day tomorrow with all that's going on there. And hopefully we can be back, and you'll be back tomorrow, or next week, rather. Back next week on IT. I will see everybody next time. Have a great night.